everyone, welcome to another manga video that was made to justify my late night reading habits. Oops. So far on this channel, I've really only highlighted my obsession for weird crossover brand manga. I've made some Disney manga videos and another that shouldn't be classified as manga but was marketed that way. It was weird, but I bring up my past videos to showcase a pattern. I love the girly things. I love shoujo. I love wacky content whose target audience is girls and women, because the drama is always insane. Today's manga, Kitchen Princess, is no different. Kitchen Princess is an award-winning manga by Miyuki Kobayashi and Natsumi Ando that was published in Nakayoshi from August 3rd, 2004 to September 3rd, 2008. Here in the United States, Del Rey Manga snagged the rights and published Kitchen Princess starting in 2007, and omnibus volumes were released in 2013 by Kodansha USA. Despite positive reception, Kitchen Princess only has the original manga run and a light novel. No sequels, no anime, or live-action adaptation. I find that odd, but we only seem to get good shoujo anime in waves. I believe Kitchen Princess will get an anime someday. Anyway, I should talk about the story to both justify the title of this video and why I think Kitchen Princess deserves an anime. Let's go! Our main character is Najika. She's an orphan, typical for a shoujo protagonist. She's a cheery young girl who loves food. She's leaving her orphanage behind to attend the prestigious Seika Academy, at the request of the school's director, to continue improving her cooking skills and, more importantly, find her flan prince. So the way we're introduced to this mystery boy is in a flashback. Najika's parents recently passed. She's obviously upset, but she's upset to the point where she tries to drown herself. Well, she slips. But she gets mad at the guy for trying to save her because she wanted to go to heaven with her parents. Therapy. Now. To earn his nickname, the Flan Prince gives her flan. Duh! Which is a custard dessert made by combining eggs, milk, sugar, and vanilla, and is baked similarly to cheesecake. The way it's drawn in the manga reminds me of Jell-O, which could be correct consistency-wise. I've never had it. The Flan Prince gives Najika a kiss on the forehead, and she's left behind with only a silver spoon to remember him by. She vows to make him the most delicious dessert in the whole world, to repay his kindness. Such a sweet ending to a flashback that had a morbid start. Back in the present, Najika is overwhelmed by Seika Academy's humongous campus. She immediately decides to disobey orders and sneaks out of her room, accidentally showing her fishnets to a boy in the process. He's gonna be the love interest, isn't he? This is Daichi, and he's full of teenage angst. Skipping class, throwing things. Yeah, he seems like a great guy. So Daichi hurts this random girl's feelings and smacks her flan on the floor. That's where Najika draws the line. She tells Daichi that he'll have to eat the flan. Wasting food is bad.
That's no good.
Daichi's much calmer brother Sora rizzes up the other girls, as Najika talks us through making flan properly. At the end of chapter 1, Najika finally gets to properly introduce herself, and Sora gets a little up close and personal. Sir, you just met her! That's just the first chapter, out of 53. We have a whole journey to enjoy, so sit back, relax, and have some fun. We're gonna have fun!
Oh no!
Najika is smitten with Sora, but she has a much more interesting budding relationship with Daichi. As she takes her seat next to him, she learns about everyone's special talents. Najika has found herself amongst dancers, musicians, athletes, artists, models, and yet she can't seem to figure out what her talent is. despite it being shown in the previous chapter, but go off, Humble Queen! Unfortunately, Najika has made some enemies thanks to Sora's advances, so some mean girls end up pushing her down and ruining her clothes during the lunch break. Turns out the model isn't so nice. Sora and Daichi do step in, but Najika is able to stand up for herself. Despite the obvious setup, Najika decides to remake Akane's lunch, and she wows the entire cafeteria, showing that she has earned her place at Seika Academy. In Chapter 3, Akane attempts to sabotage Najika again, but she ends up at the rundown Fujita Diner. She fixes it up and serves Sora and Daichi rainbow jelly. Najika has found her place at the academy. In Chapter 4, we flash forward to Christmas? How much time has passed? But being an orphan, Najika isn't exactly thrilled by the holiday. That being said, Seika Academy is working hard to celebrate. Akane and Daichi are starring in a fashion show, to his dismay. Sora is going to play piano and Najika is going to cook. Obviously, her bullies are really stupid. Najika can easily make holiday treats for everyone, and they act like she still has nothing to offer. Ugh. Anyway, Akane wants Najika to make and present a Christmas cake at the end of her show, even letting her borrow a dress. I can see where this is going and I hate it. Not only did Akane ask someone else to make a bigger cake, but she said Najika stole her dress. All over a guy, I swear! The dress and cake are trashed, but Sora comes to save the day, and Najika celebrates Christmas her own way. And it's revealed that Sora is the school director? The person who let her in? What else is Sora hiding? At the beginning of Chapter 5, it's revealed that Sora is not actually the director. Just filling in. Both Sora and Daichi are actually the sons of the director. That explains why Sora can just hit on anyone he pleases. Nepo baby. Anyway, Akane gets her award too, which includes a silver spoon just like the one Najika received from her Flan Prince. Akane explains that many students have these spoons, and then says she hates her. Again, over a boy? Really?
He is not the love of your life! He is literally just a guy! Hit him with your car!
Najika misses her orphan family and decides to take a walk. She runs into Daichi, who doesn't seem to be in the best mood either. The two go to her little kitchen on campus, and she fixes some onion soup for Daichi. Sora visits as well, but as the two chat, Najika sneaks away with the intention of leaving school forever. Of course, the brothers stop her. Sora still doesn't know what personal space is, and that's where Volume 1 ends. And we get all the recipes Najika made! I'm gonna say already that one of my favorite parts of Kitchen Princess is the tonal whiplash of a dramatic chapter ending, followed by a bunch of cute recipes that you can make at home. It's not too dramatic here, but wait until later. The story is pretty tame right now, and Volume 1 is a good introduction. Najika, Sora, Daichi, and Akane have their set roles right now. And now we get to sit back and enjoy the drama as we jump into Volume 2. Okay, I'm gonna have to put a trigger warning for Volume 2 for eating disorders, specifically anorexia. If you're not in the headspace to listen to this part, I totally get it. It's a very uncomfortable topic for a lot of people, so I'm just giving you a warning now. You should be able to skip ahead to a different point in this video. Possibly. I have no clue how I'm gonna edit this. Okay, are you ready? Okay. In Chapter 6, Sora and Daichi take Najika to their home. And their parents are out. Moving a little fast, are we? Sora plays a little tea tasting game with Najika to confirm if she has absolute taste, which is kind of like photographic memory, but with eating and drinking. Pretty cool. Sora then says his father knew Najika's parents, and assumed she'd have the same culinary gifts they had, and that he's been looking for her all his life. Aw, okay, that one got me. The three then share an adorable breakfast scene together, before we skip ahead to the opening ceremony after winter break. Akane continues to be a jerk, but this time Daichi and Sora catch her. This leads to Akane mentioning she'd accept Najika's talent if she was acknowledged by a professional chef, which Sora can arrange. However, if she loses, Najika has to leave the academy. Akane brings her chef as competition for Najika, and even tries to sabotage Najika's cake. But with help from Daichi, our cooking girlie wins, and hopefully, people will be nicer to her. Please be nice to her! In Chapter 8, both Najika's reputation and the Fujita Diner are doing better. However, Akane still hates Najika's guts, and out of anger, she says she's on a diet and won't eat. So up to this point, Akane has only been praised for her physical attributes, like how thin and pretty she is, while Najika's gift is based on skill. A skill that involves something that models are encouraged to have less of. Akane is still a shallow character, but her having struggles with food would be a deeper reason for hating Najika. She could represent everything Akane can't have. Will Kitchen Princess be bold enough to tackle such a topic? We'll see.
A few moments later.
Okay, not even a few pages later, and my theory is proven correct. As Daichi and Najika are hanging out, they see Akane modeling and she faints because she hasn't eaten anything. Daichi gets a moment alone with her, and they share the rice cake that Najika made. But Akane doesn't know who made it. The next day when she finds out, she lashes out at Najika, screaming at her not to take Daichi away. And then she forces herself to throw up so her lunch doesn't turn into fat. I'm gonna blur this and possibly talk more about my personal experience in a little bit. But if you know the trick, you know the trick. Oh god. The next chapter gets even more intense. Akane is hired for a commercial and throws a party to celebrate. Of course, she rudely tells Najika she isn't invited. At the party, the pressure to eat something, and hearing that she's still so far from being as good as her mother, makes Akane spiral, and she has to excuse herself and runs to throw up. Sora follows her as Daichi and Najika approach the party. Najika tries to tell Akane that dieting in such an extreme way isn't healthy, and Akane goes off on this poor girl, immediately pulling the "you wouldn't understand being compared to a perfect mother because you don't have one" card. I will chime in here and say while I'm not a model and never could be, I was very underweight for a while, and your mind changes when you starve yourself. So while not in the right, I understand where Akane's rage is coming from. You're not yourself when you're struggling with an eating disorder, whether it's caused by stress or body image issues. It messes with your head in ways I don't wish on my worst enemy. Obviously, what Akane said hurt Najika, but she takes a step back and thinks of a way to help her bully. The day of Akane's commercial, she does well until she's asked to take a bite of the ice cream. Najika, Sora, and Daichi sneak in and witness the whole thing, but our girl makes a treat that is easy to digest, in the hopes of trying to get Akane to eat. The confrontation upsets Akane, and Chapter 9 ends with her crying in the bathroom as a big piece of her hair comes out. This was like a flashback for me. Wow. I'm not one to usually need a trigger warning, but I started sweating. I felt like I was 15 again. I don't know how to make jokes in this section, just wow. This is being handled decently so far, and I'm glad a story targeted at young girls who will face body image issues at some point is tackling this subject somewhat realistically. Let's hope Kitchen Princess sticks the landing on this one. In Chapter 10, we find out Akane's commercial was cancelled, and she is absent from school. We get a glimpse of Akane's home life, and her mother is a horrible person, valuing work over her daughter's well-being. Back with our favorite trio, Najika is determined to help Akane, and the boys give her the idea to make the peach pie that Akane's grandmother made when they were kids. After a few rounds of trial and error, they finally figure out how Akane's grandmother made the pie, and convince Akane to eat for the ones who truly care about her. Okay. Obviously, eating disorders are a long-lasting struggle that can't be perfectly solved within a few chapters, but I liked how Akane's struggle wasn't glorified, and that Najika tried to make her focus on those who truly value her. It was a bold move to discuss a topic like this, especially this early in the story, but I'm glad Kitchen Princess took that risk. This is tastefully done. Pun unfortunately intended.
Boo!
Chapter 11 opens with Najika waiting for Akane to come back to school. And she does! And she even acknowledges Najika. While not friendly, it's a start. Meanwhile, Sora and Daichi are helping at her little restaurant as a thank you for helping Akane. Once their lunch break ends, Sora rushes to work and Daichi leaves as well, annoyed at Najika's obvious feelings for Sora. He then runs into Akane, who admits she was jealous of his close connection with Najika. So much drama. Flash forward to that evening. Najika stops by to give Sora some blueberry pancakes. She admits to not knowing what Sora's favorite foods are, and that Daichi wouldn't tell her. Sora then opens up about why they aren't close anymore. When their father remarried, Daichi was against it, and his rebellion hasn't stopped since. Sora had the opposite reaction, embracing his new mother with open arms. As the two share this bonding moment full of trauma and blushing, it seems as if another jealous girl wants to make life hell for Najika. Again, he is just a guy! These girls need some hobbies! The next day, Fujita Diner is being torn apart by the request of the PTA director, who is jealous Girlie's dad.
Oh no!
These Nepo babies can do anything, I swear! Finally, it's time for Akane to step up and help Najika, even if she won't admit it. Najika prepares a special meal for the PTA and students while Fujita, who has been lazy up to this point, makes himself presentable for the occasion. Of course, they save their restaurant, as they should. That jealous girl shouldn't have even tried. However, this happy ending doesn't last as Najika gets a phone call from the orphanage. Her beloved Hagio-sensei is sick. In Chapter 13, Najika, Daichi, and Sora have all skipped school to visit Hagio-sensei. Luckily, when they arrive, she's okay and immediately quizzes her on the guys. Yes, Granny, yes! As the children help Najika prepare Hagio-sensei's favorite cream puffs, a new boy with a terrible attitude disses Najika's skills. His name is Futa, and his parents were killed in an accident. Of course, Najika sees herself in Futa and tries to connect with him. But when he breaks her eggs, it's over. She runs after that little Satan spawn, as she should! Beat his Once she catches Futa, she hugs him and says everything she needed to hear at that age. Futa finally warms up to Najika, and she makes him banana-shaped cream puffs. Adorable! Najika, Daichi, and Sora spend some time outside the orphanage as she explains the tale of meeting with the Flam Prince. Daichi seems to know something, but before he can say anything, Najika drops her precious spoon and slips into the water. But Daichi catches her! Parallels? Could Daichi be the Flam Prince? Well, evidently not, because he said no. But I don't believe him. However, it seems as if Sora, overhearing the conversation, knows something. Back to the orphanage, Najika is concerned that Hagio-sensei is overexerting herself, but she quickly shuts down those thoughts by making a cake with the kids. And with that, Najika and the boys head back to Tokyo. As they return, it's increasingly obvious that Daichi likes Najika, and unfortunately Akane can see this too. Chapter 15 opens with a thank you letter from Najika's family in Hokkaido. Daichi is acting a little cute again, but Akane gets him alone and asks him not to spend time with Najika anymore. Meanwhile, Sora is competing in a piano competition in Paris. Najika makes cupcakes for him, and Sora tells her that he has something important to discuss when he returns. Back with Daichi, he's bought Najika a new watch after she cracked her old one. Akane spots his gift and steals it, then lies to Daichi and says Najika gave her the watch. Akane, I really want to defend you, but your struggles do not justify your behavior. Heartbroken, Daichi begins ignoring Najika, which obviously hurts her. As she's working, Akane stops by to be a bitch again, telling Najika that Daichi is tired of her food.
This girl is the nastiest stank witch I've ever met. Do not trust her.
When Najika returns to her room, Sora has sent her a lot of presents, including a watch! Oh no! Oh, Daichi, she doesn't know! She doesn't know! The two then share a phone call, unknowingly cheering Najika up. Najika decides to make Daichi some rice balls, but he notices her new watch from Sora and gets upset. He tells her they're not friends and leaves her crying in the perfectly timed rain. God, I love shoujo manga. Of course, Sora returns just in time to shelter Najika from the rain, and he confesses that he is her flan prince, although he has to be reminded of her promise. Sora does a great job comforting Najika and promises that he'll help with the Daichi situation. We then cut to Sora waltzing into Daichi's room as he's being pestered by Akane to eat. Sora's anger in the next few panels is so intense. He has that calm, unsettling anger. It's terrifying. Anyway, Daichi discovers that Najika never received his watch because Akane took it! And the scene ends with Sora questioning if Daichi really doesn't know why the whole situation upset him. Okay, look, he's just a guy, but Sora is so real for this. I'm officially a Sora stan. Of course, Daichi apologizes and comes back to enjoy Najika's apple cake. As quickly as he realizes his true feelings, he learns that her heart has been stolen by another. Oh, the drama!
Why? What? You didn't expect me to lay on the grass, did you?
Chapter 18 opens with the news that Sora won his piano competition, and Najika has cooked a feast to celebrate. Sora encourages Najika to enter a national Western confectionery competition, and she's a little unsure at first, but both Sora and Daichi give encouragement in their own ways. As Daichi leaves, Sora asks Najika to forgive Akane for stealing the watch, but Najika had no idea she did that until Sora mentioned it. Akane actually got a new watch and starts bad-mouthing Daichi's watch, which Najika overhears and confronts her about. This ends up upsetting Akane, and she throws her drink at Najika, but this time, Najika fights back! Yes! Akane shows her true colors to everyone, and as they turn on her, Najika defends her. I get it. Najika is a kind person. This is very Toru Honda behavior, and part of me wants her to suffer as much as Najika, but the other half of me knows that Akane is suffering in worse ways, so I'm gonna have to let this slide. But if I were the protagonist and not Najika, I would have been throwing hands with this bitch day one. Daichi goes to find the nurse, and the girls share a moment alone. Najika opens up about her feelings towards Sora, and the two bond over their feelings for the boys. Oh my god. Najika then decides that she'll tell Sora how she feels after the competition mentioned at the beginning of the chapter. And Daichi looks crushed. This is so messy. Akane likes Daichi, Daichi likes Najika, Najika likes Sora, Sora and Daichi are brothers, and Sora, Daichi, and Akane are childhood friends, while Sora and or Daichi is Najika's flan prince, which will ultimately determine who she gets with, I think. In Chapter 19, Najika must find a recipe to fit the competition's theme in order to move to the next round. Meanwhile, Daichi confronts Sora about his intentions with our lead girl. I'm not sure I like where this is going. I was starting to like Sora. Back to Najika, the theme of her competition is friendship, and that's something she doesn't have much experience with. But her budding friendship with Akane gives her the perfect idea. She makes a low-calorie dessert that keeps her model lifestyle in mind, and Najika passes the first round. Yay! But wait, we need more drama. Najika spots Daichi and goes to tell him the good news. However, instead of being happy, he's rude, which is normal. But Najika defends her beloved Sora, and as she justifies her actions, Daichi kisses her. What? Taking a break from the main story, we get a really sad one-shot about a ghost girl wanting to make a treat for the boy she left behind. Oh, why does this manga want me to cry? Back to the main plot, Daichi backtracks on his feelings. Najika's a mess but can't tell Akane why for obvious reasons, and Sora does his best to cheer Najika up as she thinks of ideas for the second round of her competition. He even takes her to try all sorts of expensive desserts. How sweet! And Najika gets a special package from home. A brand new apron! Unfortunately, Daichi might be right about Sora not having good intentions, but we'll have to wait and see how things play out. Chapter 21 opens with the dessert Najika will enter for round 2. It looks great, but her hand seems to be giving her trouble. This becomes a problem as she has to prepare the dessert in front of the judges this time. Luckily, Daichi comes to save the day, and apologizes for kissing Najika without consent. Time is up, treats are being tasted, and despite being the youngest contestant, Najika wins! As the boys congratulate her, their father, the director himself, arrives. Wow, that is such a good way to end the chapter. So dramatic. In chapter 22, we learn how much of a scumbag the director is. He's using Najika's dead parents' fame as publicity to promote the school. What? Najika is heartbroken by this whole ordeal. But Sora eventually gets to explain his side of the story, and how his support for Najika's dream is real, and she in return tells Sora she likes him as tears stream down her face. Sora says he will tell her how he feels when the competition ends, along with something else he's been hiding. Interesting. Daichi is still mad, and I don't blame him, but that's not productive. And Najika needs to prepare for the final round of her competition. Sora stands up to his father, and the jerk backs off for now. But I don't trust that man. Back to the competition, the theme is the best dessert according to you. And Najika takes this opportunity to make the flan she promised. It's all coming together. Until... Sora dies! I repeat, Sora is dead! Actually, we don't know if it killed him yet because the story stops, and we get another one-shot chapter. These are cute, but now is not the time! Chapter 24 opens with Najika arriving at the hospital. Sora is in critical condition, and Najika blames herself, as Sora was on his way to get ingredients for her next competition entry. Sora wakes up as Najika screams his name, and the rest of the group leaves to give them privacy. Sora apologizes for distracting her from her dream, and for lying about being her prince. Sora was not the boy that saved Najika's life, but he truly loved her until the very end. Wanting to win in Sora's memory, Najika tries to make it to the competition, but finds herself unable to taste anything. I've never heard of this happening, but evidently the shocking loss of Sora caused Najika's sense of taste to vanish?
Dude, you lost me.
I know.
Regardless, Najika makes it just in time to the competition, and Daichi reminds her to win for Sora, giving Daichi a moment to finally grieve. Najika regains her spark as she makes her best cake ever, but as soon as she's reminded of her loss, Najika faints. Not only does Najika lose the competition, but everyone at Seika Academy blames her for Sora's death, even his father. Najika is told to leave the school forever, but Daichi promises that he'll find a way for her to stay at the academy. The next day, Akane stops by and gives Najika sushi that she made herself. I really want their friendship to last this time. Meanwhile, Daichi makes a deal with his father to essentially take Sora's place as the family pawn, despite that going against his personality, all for Najika to stay. But before Daichi and Akane can deliver the good news, Najika has already left. She makes her way to her childhood home, but doesn't get far as another family lives there now. Najika feels as if she has nowhere to go, and as she cries, she slips and falls. But luckily, Daichi is already searching for her. Daichi follows the rainbow to find Najika and encourages her to come back to the academy. Before they return, the mother and daughter from earlier invite the two into their home, and Najika makes bread for them. Her sense of taste is officially back. Najika is finally back at school, but she's transferred into a different class, isn't allowed to stay in the dorms, and her peers still hate her. Despite Najika's new circumstances, everything seems to be getting better. Until a Sora imposter shows up! His name is Seiya Mizuno, and he's taking Najika's place as the special cooking student. He's a total jerk and insults Najika's cooking. Everyone hates this guy, but it's Daichi's responsibility to take care of him per request of his father. Seiya does invite Najika to a party, and says he'll discuss her cooking further. This guy is all daddy's money and flexing what he obviously didn't earn. He only uses the best ingredients, the best equipment, while Najika is a lot more humble and her food is made with love. Seiya's skilled, yes, but he's also an entitled jerk who nearly hurts a girl because she put extra salt on her food. Najika declares that her cooking is better than Seiya's, and the two decide to have a friendly competition. Of course, Najika wins and humbles that little jerk. As she should! Najika took into consideration what each judge liked and catered to their taste because she cares about the individual, not her own personal preferences, unlike Seiya, who can only think about himself. I hate him. As the story progresses, Seiya does get more character depth. We see how his father mistreated him, and that he's always been jealous of Najika's ability to enjoy making food, even when the two were kids in Hokkaido. The director is disappointed in Seiya and demands that he takes Najika down for good. Meanwhile, Akane is still struggling with the fact that Daichi likes Najika instead of her. She isn't taking it out on Najika, which I'm very happy about, but that doesn't mean there isn't any meanness around. Seiya takes that role and immediately puts Akane down for pursuing a love that will never happen.
Would you quit meowing?
Unfortunately, Akane does figure out why Daichi took Sora's place as the director's pawn. He's given up his freedom for Najika, and for a moment, Akane can't stand her again. However, instead of bullying Najika like before, she makes Daichi a treat of her own and confesses her feelings directly. Akane knows what his answer is, but he makes it clear anyway that he only loves Najika. Akane accepts this and thanks Daichi for the closure. As he leaves,
Would you be quiet? Where'd you go?
As he leaves, Seiya steps in and has a sweet moment with Akane. I don't know how much I like this. Would you shut up? I don't think Seiya and Akane are a bad pair, but I feel like they needed a little more time together before having this sweet of a scene. It doesn't feel earned, but I think I'll like their dynamic. In chapter 33, Akane apologizes to Najika, Daichi and Akane promise to stay like family, and Najika has a fever. She ignores it, however, to pursue extra money-making opportunities so she can send the funds back to her beloved orphanage. It's during this time that Seiya finds Najika, and the two spend the day together, until she faints from overheating. The princess in the title is very accurate because this girl faints more than anybody I've ever seen. The Disney girls could never. Now, Najika thinks Seiya is her flan prince, since he mentions remembering her in Hokkaido years ago. As she begins to question Seiya when she wakes up, he starts trash-talking the Lavender House, and she slaps him! Go, Najika! As she runs away from Seiya, Daichi is there to comfort our girl, jacket sharing included. The next day, Najika is told to go to the director's office. Luckily, the nice judge from before is there too. Both Najika and Seiya are told to prepare snacks that pair well with tea. Even though she's still angry with Seiya, Najika is excited about the opportunity. However, as she's brainstorming ideas, she gets a call from Hagiya-sensei. The orphanage is shutting down. As the shock sets in, Akane rushes to tell Najika that she's actually participating in another competition with Seiya, and it's not a casual meeting like she was initially told. Najika storms into the director's office, exclaiming that a competition was not what she had agreed to. and that she had enough to worry about with the orphanage closing down. The director, in return, says he'll save Najika's home if she loses to Seiya in the competition. Najika doesn't want to prepare food she isn't proud of, but she also loves her home. The following day, Daichi discovers that his dad and Seiya's dad are the ones behind the orphanage being shut down. As Daichi rushes to tell Najika, he finds her tossing away her cooking notes. Najika knows she can't say anything, and Daichi tries his best to comfort her. It's a complicated situation. Seeing that Seiya's family is involved, Daichi pays him a visit as well, begging Seiya for help. Luckily, Seiya isn't as bad as I initially thought, and he gets the deed to Lavender House so the two can have a true competition. And Hagio-sensei is here. Everyone say thank you, Daichi! After a long day, both Najika and Seiya win, and the school's new culinary program receives support. The director backs off for now, and everyone treats Najika with kindness. But Seiya still feels as if he lost. In Chapter 38, Najika has two current problems. Her blooming feelings for Daichi and Seiya not leaving her side because he has to figure out what makes Najika better than him. This part of the story is really endearing. Watching Seiya learn from Najika and working at the cafe, seeing him become a better person, I was really happy about his attitude improvement. But then he has to go and kiss Najika! And Daichi sees it? In the following chapter, Akane goes to warn Daichi about Seiya's advances, but these two have undeniable chemistry, so I think they'll be okay. Seiya can back off. Unfortunately, Daichi's dad is doing everything in his power to keep his son away from Najika, which gives Seiya an unfair advantage, and the two enjoy cinnamon rolls together. He also prepares flan for Najika, without knowing the significance of the treat to her. So this sends our girl on an emotional roller coaster where she's like, I found my flan prince? But why am I not happy? Also, Akane has gone from the worst character to the best character, as she keeps pulling through for Najika, informing her of why Daichi's been distant, and getting Seiya off her back. Daichi does make up for missing their initial dinner date, and Najika gives him hot chocolate as the snow falls. Very cute. Chapter 41 has us following Daichi and Najika as they make their way to visit Sora's grave. Najika has a moment alone with Sora, and expresses her feelings of love, loss, grief, and her blossoming feelings for Daichi. She asks for Sora's approval to love his brother, and from heaven he tells her that he wants Najika to be happy. She then leaves with Daichi as the two smile at each other. Gosh, they're adorable! The chapter then quickly switches back to Najika turning Seiya down, and she thanks him for making her smile. Right as this is happening, Daichi regains his memories of being Najika's true flan prince. Did that feel fast to you? Because Chapter 41 zooms through these crucial events, so a big mystery surrounding both Sora and Daichi up to this point has been their mother. We know she's dead. We know losing her changed the boys forever. But we don't know how she died. Until now. As Najika is talking to Akane about everything that's happened, Akane admits that she heard their mother committed suicide. As this conversation is happening, Daichi and his father are fighting over the same issue, as Daichi uncovered an old photo of him and Sora in Hokkaido. Trying to remember distant memories, Daichi faints. And we finally get to see what happened all those years ago in Hokkaido. The boys are enjoying quality time with their mother as they wait for their father to come back. Daichi wants to go outside and his mother agrees as long as he doesn't go too far. He goes to pick some flowers for his mom and ends up near a construction zone. Daichi can hear his mother calling his name, but before he can return, the wind knocks over a ton of wooden beams in his direction. As they fall, Daichi's mom rushes to protect him and dies in the process. She didn't commit suicide. She died protecting her son. Daichi now remembers that he killed his mother.
That's disturbing.
That got so dark. So quick. Oh my god! Kitchen Princess has mastered the art of tonal whiplash because every time I'm comfortably enjoying this silly crush drama and cute recipes, the story drops the most traumatic character development and I'm never ready. I was not ready to find out Daichi killed his mom. And blocked it out. How do you end a chapter like that? Chapter 43 opens with a time skip of 2 weeks. Daichi has not returned to school, but hey, the World Junior Pastry Chef Contest is coming up, and Seiya and Najika need to prepare to represent Japan as they travel to Paris. Slay, that sounds fun. Of course, Najika is more focused on the Daichi situation, but cool opportunity, I guess. Anyway, Daichi isn't eating and is isolating himself. His father grows desperate for his son to eat, so he goes to Najika and explains everything. Sora made his father promise not to tell Daichi about their mother's death after Daichi lost his memory, but now he remembers everything years later, and the director has no idea what triggered the memory. But Najika might. She goes back to Daichi's house and we get a cute callback to their first meeting. Najika gives him some soup and confesses her feelings for Daichi. Things are getting real. In the next chapter, the director and Najika finally make peace as both are concerned about Daichi. He says that she's the only one that can save his son, and in return, Najika makes one of her many great food analogies to say that his efforts to parent might have gone unappreciated, but she's sure Daichi will be grateful someday for his attempt to keep him safe. Soon, Daichi comes back to school and promises to come by Fujita Diner. Although he doesn't come inside, the two have a talk outside, which results in him brushing off Najika's feelings again. Like, dude, we know you like her, just say yes! Instead of crying, Najika focuses on the upcoming competition. Meanwhile, Daichi and his dad are getting some much-needed quality time, as they share a meal together for the first time in years, which the director later admits he got the idea from Najika. This causes Daichi to rethink everything, and he rushes to the airport because Najika's about to leave for Paris. Wasn't she just at the diner like 2 minutes ago? What time is it? What is time? At the airport, Najika is talking to Hagio-sensei for some final words of encouragement. I guess she took final literally because Granny passes out the minute she hangs up the phone. Chapter 46 has Seiya and Najika already in Paris. Okay. Najika's making a rainbow cake, and Seiya makes her a virgin cocktail called a Cinderella. Najika laughs at the whole situation, saying she's not a princess, and roll credits!
He said it!
Seiya once again is making the moves, but Najika stands her ground. She loves Daichi, even if he doesn't love her back, which he totally does and has almost the whole time. As Seiya finally takes a hint, Najika gets a call that Hagio-sensei is dying. Can we not have a moment of peace for 2 seconds? My lord! Hagio-sensei is having heart surgery, and Najika rushes to be by her side, leaving the competition and her dream behind. Seiya says he'll work hard for both their sakes. Najika makes it back home, and her sensei is just fine. The nurse informs her about a boy who looked after Hagio-sensei before she arrived, and Najika goes to look for him. Of course, it's her flan prince, Daichi. In the final chapter, the two discuss everything. Daichi confirms that he is Najika's flan prince, he fixes his relationship with his dad, and finally confesses that he loves Najika too. The two return to the hospital and see Seiya on TV as he wins first place at the competition, mentioning that his dish is a collaboration with Najika. While Seiya might not have been Najika's prince, he was part of her journey, which led to her meeting lots of incredible friends, family, and her long-lost love, Daichi. We do get a special chapter detailing the cast's future adventures from Akane's point of view. She gets her first TV gig and has to learn how to cook, but can't get in touch with Najika, and Seiya isn't much better, until he shows up at the last minute and the two are suddenly couple material. I mean, I'm not mad. I think they could have good enemies to lovers chemistry, but there's just not enough development here. That can be said for a lot of things in the last few chapters. The pacing in Kitchen Princess is kind of insane, but not bad until the last few chapters. The whole killing competition, heart surgery, Paris plot is too fast and needed more build-up. Same with Seiya and Akane's relationship. Overall, I really enjoyed Kitchen Princess. I'm a sucker for 2000s style shoujo art. I also love how each volume includes the recipes made in each chapter. That is so cool, and there's an account on TikTok that has made a lot of the recipes, so hopefully I'll remember to link to them. I really enjoyed this story, even if it was almost too dramatic with its constant reveals. I love an emotional roller coaster, and some topics, like Akane's eating disorder, were handled well for the target audience. I didn't expect Kitchen Princess to go too deep with the heavier topics, but they're good to acknowledge since young girls do experience many of the struggles presented here. Maybe not in the way they're presented, but the basic idea of loss, jealousy, unrequited love, body image issues, not so great relationships with parents, bullying, and trying to find your place in this cruel world are relatable. Often the media we consume as kids and teens helps shape who we are in adulthood. I think Kitchen Princess keeps that in mind and finds a balance between being cute and making the reader feel. Is the pacing perfect? No. The constant switching between drama and sweets can be jarring, but that's also what makes Kitchen Princess so memorable. Despite having a rushed ending, the story will impact readers with at least one plotline. There's so much done right here that I can't be mad at a couple of things I disliked. Kitchen Princess is insane, but it's my kind of insane. I will never forgive you, Truck-kun! I hope you enjoyed this video. I really like making these manga videos, and this is my first time talking about one that isn't based on a Western property. So let me know if you'd like to see more manga coverage. If you'd like more consistent content from me, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I make lots of cute videos there. Lastly, troop on Hopelets, stay adorkable. Bye!